Picture Rome in its golden age, a city of marble and ambition, where one man stood above all others in wealth. Marcus Licinius Crassus. They called him the richest man in Rome, his coffers overflowing with gold from trade, land, and cunning deals. Yet, as the torches flicker in his grand villa, Crassus's heart burns with a different desire. He is part of the first Triumvirate, alongside Julius Caesar and Pompey Magnus, men whose names echo with military glory. But Crassus? His legacy is tied to coin, not conquest. And in Rome, wealth without glory is a hollow crown. As he gazes at maps of distant lands, his mind drifts to Parthia, a powerful empire in the east. A victory there could make him Caesar's equal, Pompey's rival. The night is quiet, but Crassus's ambition roars. What drives a man with everything to risk it all? For Crassus, the answer is simple: power. And so, he dreams of a war that will etch his name in history. The year is 54 BCE, and Marcus Crassus, at the age of 60, sets out to rewrite his destiny. With 7 legions, 40,000 souls, he crosses the mighty Euphrates, stepping into the lands of the Parthian Empire. The desert stretches endlessly before them, a sea of sand under a merciless sun. His soldiers march in perfect order, their shields gleaming, their hearts filled with Roman pride. Crassus rides ahead, his armor shining, his eyes fixed on glory. The Senate did not bless this war. It is his alone, a gamble born of vanity. The Armenian king, Artavasdes, warns him to take the safer mountain paths, where Parthian cavalry would falter. But Crassus scoffs, choosing the open plains for a swift victory. He dreams of Parthia's riches, of Rome chanting his name. The wind whispers no warnings, only silence. Little does he know, the desert holds a trap, and glory is a fleeting shadow. Far across the desert, the Parthians prepare. They are no barbarians, as Rome believes, but a disciplined empire, masters of the plains. Their general, Surena, is a brilliant strategist, his eyes sharp as the arrows his men wield. In their camp, horse archers train, firing with deadly precision while riding at full gallop. The cataphracts, clad in armor that turns men into iron giants, ready their lances. The Parthians number only 10,000, a fraction of Crassus's force, but they know the land, the wind, the sun. Surena studies his enemy from afar, sensing Roman arrogance. His plan is simple: let the desert and their arrows do the work. As the sun rises, painting the hills gold, the Parthians load their quivers, thousands of arrows ready to rain upon Rome. The stage is set for a clash that will shake empires. And Crassus, marching blindly, knows nothing of the storm awaiting him. Near the small town of Carrhae, in May of 53 BCE, the armies meet. The Mesopotamian plains stretch wide, offering no cover, no mercy. Crassus forms his legions into a square, believing Roman discipline will prevail. But the Parthians, led by Surena, fight like ghosts. Their horse archers sweep in, unleash volleys of arrows, then vanish before the Romans can strike. The Parthian shot, firing while retreating, turns the battlefield into a nightmare. Arrows darken the sky, piercing shields, armor, and flesh. The Romans, trained for close combat, march against air, their heavy steps useless against such speed. Hours pass, the sun burns, and the ground grows red. Crassus stands firm, shouting orders, but doubt creeps into his heart. The Parthians are not just fighting. They are teaching Rome a lesson in humility. And the worst is yet to come, as the desert drinks the blood of legions. As the first day of Carrhae fades into twilight, despair grips the Romans. Crassus's son, Publius, a brave young officer, leads a desperate charge to break the Parthian lines. With 1,000 men, he surges forward, his sword flashing, his heart full of Roman fire. But the Parthians are ready. They surround him, their arrows relentless, their cavalry closing like a vice. Publius fights fiercely, but the odds are cruel. To avoid capture, he takes his own life, a final act of defiance. The Parthians sever his head, raising it on a spear, parading it before the Roman army. Crassus, watching from afar, sees his son's fate. The historian Plutarch tells us he neither wept nor spoke, but stood silent, clutching his sword, as if fortune itself had struck him down. The Romans falter, their morale crumbling. Night falls, but the battle is far from over. For Crassus, the cost of glory grows heavier with every hour. After the slaughter at Carrhae, Crassus's army lies broken, scattered across the desert. Over 20,000 Romans are dead, 10,000 captured. The richest man in Rome is now a fugitive in a foreign land. The Parthian General Surena offers a truce, safe passage for what remains of the army, if Crassus negotiates in person. His officers argue. Some smell a trap, others see no other way. Exhausted, Crassus agrees. Under the stars, near the Publius river, he meets Surena. The Parthian general is a vision of power, his silk robes gleaming, his cavalry watchful. At first, there is civility, talk of terms, offers of food. But tension crackles like a storm. A skirmish erupts, perhaps by design, perhaps by chance. Swords clash, torches flare, and Crassus is seized. His guards fall, their blood staining the sand. The man who once bought Rome's loyalty with gold is now a prisoner, his fate sealed by the desert's cruel whims. In the heart of the Parthian camp, Marcus Crassus faces his final moments. The man who measured his worth in gold now faces a punishment born of his own legend. Surena, the Parthian general, knows of Crassus's greed, his belief that true wealth could buy an army. In a cruel act of mockery, he orders molten gold to be poured into Crassus's mouth. Bound and helpless, Crassus is restrained as the glowing liquid is brought forth, its heat searing the air. The Parthians watch in silence, their faces carved from stone, as the richest man in Rome meets a fate as brutal as it is poetic. His head, later severed, is sent to the Parthian court, a trophy of Rome's defeat. The Republic, humbled, will never again see the East with such arrogance. Crassus sought glory in gold, but found only ruin. His story reminds us, ambition unchecked is a fire that consumes its master. Sleep now, under the same stars that witnessed his fall. Good night.